Hello, my name is Daisy Tanner, and you're listening to Voices from Nowhere, a podcast dedicated to recording and cataloging the oral history of my hometown. It is a history that is just mundane enough to never make it into any major history textbooks, but that doesn't mean that it should be forgotten. My hometown is rather strange. For one, it's called Nowhere. And no, it's not the one in Oklahoma with only 3 people. No, our town is called Nowhere. Fun fact, a few years ago, the city council unanimously voted that in all professional and, as they implied, non-professional correspondence or conversations, we should attempt to pronounce the town's name as Now Here, with a dash in the middle. I guess as a advertising strategy. But their mandate didn't stop someone from buying a building right in the center of town, putting a store in it, and naming it the Middle of Nowhere. It's actually a really nice shop. They sell novelty t-shirts and mugs and hats. It's a really cute store, even if the pun that it is based around is one that everyone in town has heard 100 times. But before I attempt to compile an oral history of Nowhere, I thought it would only be fitting to supply you, dear listener, with an oral history of the podcast itself. This podcast started as a school project. I was in my second semester, first year of community college, and I had a broadcasting class. In said broadcasting class, I had a final project, and that final project was to produce the first episode of a podcast. We got to choose what genre it was in. I chose nonfiction. We got to choose what it was about. We also got to choose our partner. And I originally took this broadcasting class as a sort of fill-in. You see, I had to take it for my transfer credits, and at first I honestly thought I was going to hate it. As embarrassing as this is to say, I haven't listened to that many podcasts. I'm trying to amend that, but still, at the moment, I am a podcast novice. But something about this project really spoke to me, and I saw an opportunity to tell the world at large all about this town that honestly more people should hear about. But then COVID-19 hit. That's right, people of the future, I was going to college in the year of our Lord 2020. And for those of you listening in the future, when hopefully all of 2020 is just a bad memory, that meant that very soon into my second semester, first year of community college, I had to go to school from home, where it soon became very obvious that a podcast where the sole premise was to talk to strangers would not be feasible within the time I had to finish the project, and I had to scrap it. The podcast that I ended up doing was about the moon landing and various conspiracies associated with it, and while I did do well on that project, I got an A, it was no fun at all because I didn't have a passion for it. I didn't have a passion for it like I did with Voices from Nowhere. When I say that I had a passion, I guess I should really say that I had an obsession. Because, you know what, I think I'm just going to show you. The audio that you're about to hear is a voicemail that I left for my project partner. His name was Jason. And keep in mind that this was in the beginning of the semester, and the project was the final. It was the beginning of the semester, and I was already worrying about my partner and what we were going to do for the final project. I feel that that fact lends context to the next clip.
Hi Jason, it is Daisy, and I was thinking that maybe for like the theme song, it could be something like ooh, like wistful, or like hopeful and like spooky a little bit.
I will spare you from listening to the rest of that phone call. It was an hour long, and I am talking the whole time. I'd just like to point out here that even though I didn't realize it at the time, the tune I am humming for the theme song is quite obviously the theme song to Star Trek. Also, that was not the only phone call that I made to him.
Hey Jason, it's me again. I was just wondering if you could get back to me on the whole music box thing or music thing, because we really need to start working on it.
Jason.
I know that it's
just
due at the end of the
hope
semester,
that
but I just really want to
my
get
last
a
two
head
phone
start,
calls.
Still waiting on that
dude,
music.
my guy,
I don't know why you're ignoring me. I tried to,
please,
reach out to
please
you
get
on
back to me.
Instagram,
Dude, Jason,
but all of
where
your
are you?
friends
Just
blocked your age convenience,
lose it.
I've not accepted my follow request.
You know what,
Jason? I don't know what you
please,
want
please,
from
please,
me. I
please,
have
please,
tried
please,
to text you. I've tried to call you, and nothing works. So please, God,
please,
respond to me. Literally,
please,
this is the
call
only
me
thing you
back.
have to do in the project. Just
Jason,
respond, you
please.
coward. Please respond
Hey there,
to me.
Jason,
buddy,
please
you
call
gotta
me
say
back.
something. You
sacrifice
are
my
my
GPA
grade. Your
over
grade is dependent
someone
on me.
like you.
Please get real.
Jason, I
swear if you don't respond to me right now, I will lose it.
I made all of those calls at the end of March. It was right after I realized that this supposedly small, manageable blip in the year was not going to be a small, manageable blip. The blip being a pandemic. And another fun fact for you, in April, Jason dropped out of school. He didn't leave the class, no, he left the entire community college. I don't want to think that it was because of me, but also I really think it was because of me. And if that is so, Jason, if you're listening to this, I am so sorry. That's all I can say. I'm so sorry. Anyway, my point is that even though I had to scrap Voices from Nowhere originally and do a moon landing podcast, Voices from Nowhere never really left my brain, if that makes sense. It was always in there at the back of my mind, even though it's been over a year since I had the original idea. And I decided that I will finally make an episode. Technically, this is the first episode, but it is also the prologue, because the content of the show proper is going to be a little bit different from this episode. Normally, I will be interviewing someone from my hometown who I think has an interesting story. And next time, I'm going to talk to one of my friends. I haven't really talked to this friend since high school, but when I told a mutual friend that I was doing a podcast, they reached out and wanted to talk to me again, which was nice to hear. So, get ready. On the next episode, we are going to have our very first voice from nowhere.